Must check update and daily news report. Now we have a ton of news to go over in today's video, so be sure to stay to the end. Now folks, I want all of you to know the important stimulus check information first.
And for a very long time, the American people have seen the very rich getting richer and government developing policies which allow them to pay, in some cases, not a nickel in federal income taxes. They've seen corporations make huge profits. In some cases, they're not paying a nickel in taxes.
Now, according to Fox News, Bernie Sanders says that he will go all out. Bernie Sanders says that it's time to protect working families through the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill. He told reporters this: for too many years, people struggled. For too many years, the people on top have been doing phenomenally well, while working families continue to struggle. The time is long overdue for Congress to address the long neglected needs of ordinary Americans and not just the 1% and wealthy campaign contributors. And that's precisely what we're trying to do right now in Congress through the historic $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill.
And what this legislation does is says we're going to create millions of good paid union jobs, rebuilding this country not only from a physical infrastructure, but dealing with the human needs of our people.
What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders, everybody? Is he doing all that it takes to send out the fourth stimulus check? Meanwhile, while the rich become richer. So, real inflation accounted for weekly wages for the average worker having not risen in 50 years. And over half our people live paycheck to paycheck, and millions of more people work for starvation wages.
And what this legislation says, among many, many other things, that those days are gone. The wealthy and large corporations are going to start paying their fair share of taxes so that we can protect the working families of this country.
Bernie Sanders said that he's going to make it a lot easier for struggling parents and do what many other countries have done for years as they try to end childhood poverty in America. And in terms of healthcare, folks, this is what Bernie Sanders is saying. He said that we will take on the greed in the pharmaceutical industry, lower prices, and demand that Medicare negotiate prices with the industry. Bernie Sanders wants to expand healthcare coverage for millions of people and work to increase the number of doctors and dentists who practice in underserved areas.
Anybody who watches what's going on in California, the West Coast today, what's going on around the world, understands that if we do not get our act together in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel, that the planet we're going to be leaving our children.
In regard to the stimulus payments, Bernie Sanders says this: we will end the disgrace of widespread homelessness and lack of affordable housing through an unprecedented investment in low and middle income housing. Folks, seems like Bernie Sanders is one of the few politicians that wants to help out the American people. Do you agree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Gave that additional unemployment benefits to employers to incentivize people to go to work.
Well, what if we just cut off the unemployment? I mean, hunger is a pretty powerful thing.
Everybody, Pelosi wants to advance 2 bills in order to maximize eternal unity. Folks, if this bipartisan infrastructure bill passes, we will definitely get a fourth stimulus check if President Biden does want to include a fourth stimulus payment of $1,200 a month. So a group of liberal Democrats signaled their intention to stick to Pelosi's plan, with a focus on passing the larger and more important reconciliation bill first. Representative Pramila Jayapal released a statement saying, "Our position remains unchanged. We will work to first pass the Build Back Better reconciliation bill so we can deliver these once-in-a-generation, popular, and urgently needed investments to poor and working families, and then pass the infrastructure bill to invest in our roads, bridges, and waterways." Now, Jerome Powell, folks, said this on Friday. He said that the U.S. economy appears to be making progress, but warned that the central bank needs to be careful not to tighten its policy before Americans can return to work. Powell told reporters today, with substantial slack remaining in the Labor Department, market, and the crisis continuing, such a mistake could be potentially harmful. Powell's warning hints at a more cautious approach to pulling back on its policy, but the Fed chairman acknowledged rising inflation, which he described as a major cause for concern. And data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis showed prices rising by 4.2% on a year-over-year basis, a pace not seen in over 30 years. Powell said he expects to continue to see high inflation to be transitory, expecting factors like unusually high used car prices to come down soon. And let's not forget the nearly $1 trillion in federal relief sent to U.S. households through the 3 stimulus checks is credited with reducing poverty and helping millions of families weather the crisis. Also, a handful of states are tapping their own stimulus funds or surpluses to help specific residents, like low-income households or teachers, with direct aid reaching more than $25 million people starting this month. At the same time, many households have already spent the third stimulus checks, which the IRS started distributing in March. In another development that could weigh on people's income, crisis unemployment benefits are set to expire on September 6th, cutting 7.5 million jobless workers off the rolls. About 1 in 4 households across the US struggled to pay their household expenses in the previous week, and the Biden administration has said it won't extend the unemployment benefits beyond September 6th. Now, California is sending out $1,100 Golden State stimulus money. Maryland authorized stimulus checks earlier this year, but with a catch. These payments are only available to those who earned the earned income tax credits on the tax terms.